Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Welcome to today's video. We're doing something a little bit different today. I actually wanted to talk to you guys about my Sigma Beauty favorites. These are favorite products of mine from the brand Sigma Beauty. Now, this video is not sponsored in any way, but I do have a code with Sigma Beauty and it will get you 10% off their website. But I wanted to share with you guys today my favorite Sigma Beauty brushes, my favorite Sigma Beauty eyeshadow palettes, and what I have in my collection that I just absolutely love. If you guys are new here, my name is Staci. I feature unfiltered makeup opinions, honest reviews, beauty tutorials, and if you guys like content like that, definitely hit that subscribe button, leave me a comment down below, and let's get into this video. I have a plethora of Sigma Beauty brushes. I have eye brushes, I also have face brushes, and they are literally some of my favorite brushes that I like to use. I just love the quality of their brushes. They're very high-end quality at an affordable price, and they usually have them in a brush set as well. So you can actually buy certain types of brushes in brush sets as well. And you can go on over to the influencer tab and you can actually shop some of those influencer collaborations, and some of them have like brush sets as well. But I have a whole bunch of brushes that we're going to be talking about today. First, we're actually going to start off with my face brushes from Sigma Beauty. These are ones that I use a lot. I use them so much. They are actually some of my favorite brushes in my collection aside from like my Stinge Beauty brushes, and we're going to talk about these today. One of my favorite foundation brushes when I'm looking for something like a very airbrushed, like natural coverage, I actually tend to reach for this brush right here. It is the Airbrush Kabuki. It's the F85. I use this one today with my makeup, but I find that this just like shears out the product perfectly on my skin, and what it does is it just creates this very natural looking airbrushed look. I love using it mostly with like very lightweight serum-y feeling foundations, and it just provides this like airbrushed quality to my foundation. Now the F85, the Airbrush Kabuki, actually retails for $28, and you might be able to find it in a set as well. But like I said, the thing that I really like about this is that it's a little bit fluffier, but it is a Kabuki like airbrushed. It's a Kabuki airbrush, so it does really make your foundation lay really nicely on your skin. It makes it look airbrushed. It gives it that really like flawless look to it, and I love using it with a lot of my like serum type of foundations or like my really lightweight foundations. Not anything that's like too thick and cakey, but something that's really serum-y, and it provides such a beautiful finish on my skin. For bronzer, I'm obsessed with this brush. This is the F40 large angled contouring brush, and it is a contour brush, so it's like angled, and it makes it really easy to be able to get into the like crevasses, the little dip in your cheek, to be able to get a really nice bronzed look. And it's just fluffy enough that it like blows out the color on your face and it really bronzes it nicely. Now, this one actually comes in many brush sets as well. I can leave some linked down below, but I did actually buy this in a brush set as well. So this actually comes in like the essential brush set. And it is actually, it retails for $24. I do recommend that like with any of their brushes, like if you find them and they're in a brush set and they come with some of the other brushes that I'm mentioning, definitely check out the brush sets because you actually get quite a good like discount when you buy more brushes at the same time, like if they're in a brush set. Now, the large angled contour, like I said, it's like the just perfect amount of fluff where it really diffuses the bronzer nicely on your face. And it also is small enough where you're able to really get into the contours of your face and really just like contour and like bronze up your face really nicely. This is one of my favorite bronzer brushes, especially when I'm working with product that, especially when I'm looking to do something that's a little bit more precise with my bronzer application, something that's a little bit more like contoured. It is a really nice brush for that. Now for blush. For blush, I have this fluffy brush. We have the F10 brush. It retails for $26. Again, you can find it in brush sets, I guarantee you. But this is actually a powder slash blush brush, and I actually use this specifically for blush because I love how like fluffy it is, but it's still small, so it's not like overpowering I love it because it is fluffy enough that I really get like a nice airbrush look to my powder blushes, but it's not like super overpowering. So I just take the tip of it and I dab it in, and then I just like very gently like coat the blush on my face, and it allows for a very nice like even application of the blush, but it's also super fluffy, so it diffuses it really nicely. The F10 powder blush brush. This is actually one of my favorites to apply any type of powder blush. It's so beautiful. Then when I'm looking to apply powder just like all over my face, I do find that this brush is just perfect for it. And sometimes I actually take like my Pure Nude Baked Highlighter or even some of my like Hourglass ambient lighting powders, and I use this to diffuse it all over my face. This is the F30 large powder brush. The F30 large powder brush does retail for $30. Again, it's in the Essential Brush set. And this, like I said, I sometimes will take like my powder, like a loose powder or even a pressed powder, very gently swirl into it and put powder all over my face just to set my face. Or I take like my Pure Nude Baked Highlighter from Essence or even my ambient lighting powders from Hourglass, and I just like dip into it and I diffuse that like highlight, that like highlighty type of powder that's like super, super, super subtle all over my face, and it literally just hits the high points of my face. And that's what I did today with my makeup, is I just did something like that where I diffused it all over my face, and it really just made my face look like dewy and glowy. But I have found that this is like a perfect like overall powder brush. I really like using it with like a pressed product like this, and like I said, you just go in with like a little bit of product and you just hit the high points of your cheeks, and because it's so big, it actually really diffuses it nicely across the face, and it is such a beautiful brush. Okay, and then we also have this one. This is actually one of my favorite like 2-in-1 brushes. This is the Soft Blend number 60 brush, and it retails for $25. I just have one of those, this came in the Warm Wishes collection, but it is actually available for $25 and you can purchase it with the black handle. I love this brush because it's actually kind of a hybrid brush because of how fluffy it is and how small it is. And what I mean by that is I actually like to use it with the Sigma Warm Wishes highlight and blush palette that like it came with this set. But I actually love using this for both sides. I actually used this in like a cold girl makeup trend like a million years ago when cold girl makeup was actually going on. And I loved being able to dip into the blush, diffuse it all over my face, and then dip into the highlight. And this really just does a really nice like diffused highlight all over the face. But I found that this 60 brush is like a hybrid brush, and like if you're traveling, this is a great brush to like bring with you because it does really well blending out both the blush and the highlight, and it kind of just really gives this like natural diffused blush look. And if like, I mean, blush is on the hype right now, this brush is like totally worth it in terms of that. I really like the 60 brush. I think it's absolutely like so stunning. If you're looking for like a hybrid brush product that does like blush and highlight and it just gives you like this diffused look and not like a streaky look all over your face, this is the brush for you. Let's talk about some eyeshadow brushes because I do have my preferred eyeshadow brushes from Sigma Beauty. I actually have some that are in like mini sizes, like you'll see here. These were also a part of the Warm Wishes collection, but they actually do have full size versions of these as well. And then we also have like some other brushes in here. Now I have some blending brushes that I absolutely love to just like blow out the crease, and my favorite one would actually be the E40 because this one's very, very flexible and it just really blends out product so nicely in the crease. It's one of those brushes where you can just like diffuse the product and it looks gorgeous on the eyes, and I love the E40. Then I also have the E38. This one is actually a lot like the E40, but it's actually a little bit more densely compacted, so it makes it easier to get some of the outer corner. And then I also like to use this to diffuse color all over the lid, so if I'm doing something like all over the lid, I love using this brush. And then I also like to use this one because it's so densely compact underneath my lash line as well. I think it's a really good brush for that, especially if you're looking to like really blow out the color and the bristles are a little bit firmer than the E40. If I remember correctly, some of the double-ended brushes that come in their eyeshadow palettes are either the E38 or the E40, something like that. So you used to be able to get brushes in their eyeshadow palettes. And then I have the Sigma E24. I actually have a couple versions of this one. I have a shorter version and then also the full-size version. So this one's from the Warm Wishes collection. This one's actually, you know, just the regular full-size one. The E24 is a flat, but it's a blending brush, and it's actually my favorite brush to get the outer corner because it's flat and you can just like pack on the pigment, and then it's fluffy enough where you can actually just like really nicely diffuse out the product. I actually technically have two of those because one came in the Warm Wishes collection, and then the other one was just one that I had bought through one of the influencer sets. And then I actually have two of the winged liners. These are the EO6s, and these are just like the perfect little winged liner brushes when you want to do winged liner with eyeshadow or even with like cream product. So I actually have two of these somehow. I think it came in like the essential brush set or something, but I have two of these, and honestly, you like having two of these is perfect for me because I can use one for black, one for brown, or if I want to use one for like my darker colors. And then I actually love to use the winged liner brush with like duochrome shades and create like a winged look with duochrome shades. And I absolutely love the E06 as well. Very, very detailed, very tiny, really, really easy to get like that winged look if you're not really good with like liquid liner. It's like the perfect brush to like use to get winged liner with like a powder product. And then the last one that I have is actually the E55. This one is a flat like shader brush, and I actually like this one for the lower lash line as well, like when it's right in here, and you literally just diffuse the color all along the lower lash line. The E55 actually comes in like a larger size as well. This is again from the Warm Wishes collection, so I just have like the small version of that. But their eye brushes are so good. They don't scratch your eyes. They are just the right amount of like compact brush to be able to blend out your eyeshadow, and they're just so beautiful. And then let's talk about some eyeshadows. Like I have some eyeshadows, some eyeshadow palettes, and I also have some face products. Coming back to this, we have the Warm Wishes. This is the highlight and blush. And honestly, like I know this was in the Warm Wishes collection, but this is more for the fact that their blushes and their highlights are just so stunning. Their blushes are a beautiful formulation. I know they have a lot of matte powder blushes, and they are just so easy to apply on the face. Really, really blendable, really pigmented, so you don't need a lot when you actually use it. And then as far as their highlights go, like this one obviously is in the Glisten and Glow Cheek Duo, but their highlights are just so like not creamy, but like they look creamy. They are like a really nice powder formula that's like almost like creamy on the skin is what it feels like, but it really diffuses out nicely. It creates like a really natural highlight for you. It's not streaky, it's not over accentuating of pores. Their highlights are just absolutely stunning, and they do have individuals that you can buy, and they also have like duos like this. They also have highlighter palettes. I definitely recommend their blush and their highlight. They are so gorgeous. This is actually my favorite to bring out like in like fall winter time, even though we're in summer right now, but it's like my favorite, and it's so good because it's so easy to blend and it's just so pigmented and beautiful. And as far as like eyeshadows go, if you are the type of person who likes more of a travel friendly eyeshadow, they do have these 7 pans. They have them that are like the condensed version of their larger eyeshadow palettes. I just happen to have the Enchanted palette. This is the 7 pan version of it. This is actually a really beautiful eyeshadow palette, especially for like the summer months because it's those pinks and a little bit of purples with a little bit of like a burnt red in there. But they have 7 pan eyeshadow palettes that retail for about $27, I believe. But you get 7 beautiful pigmented shades. Usually they are pretty balanced. Like this one has like a satin shade. It has 3 shimmers, 3 mattes. So it's a really balanced look at these like mini eyeshadow palettes. They do have 4 pan palettes as well. I don't have any of those, but their eyeshadow palettes are amazing in general, so I do recommend their 4 pans as well. Then they also have little 9 pans. These are really easy to travel with as well. This is the Ivy palette, but they have a whole bunch of different versions of this. This one is more neutral with a little touch of green. I love this one because it's a little bit more grungy and dark for me, but honestly, like look how tiny this is. It's so easy to travel with. It's a cardboard package, so it's actually super lightweight, so you can throw it in like a carry-on if you're going somewhere, and it's not going to like weigh down your bag like some of those larger pan palettes do. And then I have some of their full-size palettes as well. One of my favorites is actually this one. It is Warm Neutrals. Warm Neutrals is actually 14 shades. It actually is, like you can see the difference in packaging. Like this package is absolutely huge compared to like even the 7 pan. Like look how thick this one is compared to the 7 pan one. So I have the Sigma Warm Wishes palette. This is actually one of my favorite pink and warm toned eyeshadow palettes because it comes with browns in here. It comes with like pinks and reds, and it's just such a fun palette to play with if you want like that blown out rose gold eyeshadow look. I love the Warm Neutrals palette. This was like one of my, I think it was like my second full size purchase from Sigma as far as like eyeshadow palettes go. And then I also have the Untamed. This one is actually super grungy. I love grungy eyeshadows. And this one comes actually, if I was actually thinking about this today and I was like, this is such an unconventional eyeshadow story, but it's so fun to play with because it is so grungy, so easy to use. And this is the Untamed palette. And like I said, their eyeshadow palettes actually come with a double-ended brush. So on one side, we have the E54 medium sweeper brush, and then you have the E38 on this side. So they actually do come with brushes in their eyeshadow palettes. I'm not sure as of recent if some of their palettes do. I'm actually wearing this eyeshadow palette today, but Sigma has this incredible formula where the mattes are very buttery and like they just kind of melt into your skin when you blend them out. And then the foils are this like hybrid material, like they're almost like that wet formula that we keep seeing Natasha Denona do or like some other brands do. But like the Untamed eyeshadow palette was actually released like quite a while ago, and same with Warm Neutrals. Like these are palettes that are a little bit older in my collection, but like the foil shades look wet, like when you put them on the eye, when you just kind of like dab them on. A lot of their foil shades are like this, where they're just like that really cool hybrid shadow where they look wet, but they're not actually like a cream product by any means. These 14 shade eyeshadow palettes, they do come with a full-size mirror, and they're so stunning. These are two of my favorite Sigma Beauty eyeshadow palettes. I reach for them all the time. So like Sigma just has this amazing quality with their eyeshadows. They are just so stunning, so pigmented on the eyes, and they look wet, they look juicy, they look very like, they're just such a beautiful quality. It's so hard to put into descriptive words like what the quality, like it's just a really good quality shadow. And I absolutely like, especially with their shimmer shades, like if it's not a satin shade, like this one's a satin one, but if it's like their like foil formula, it looks wet on the eye, and it's just so stunning when you put it all across the lid, when you put it, you know, on your eye. And it like, I can't get enough of like what they look like because they're just the right amount of like foil shimmer, but also the right amount of like, my eyeshadow looks wet. It looks wet. And that's really what's been trending a lot lately, like in makeup. These are some of my Sigma Beauty favorites. Again, if you want to save 10%, sometimes they actually allow you to stack influencer codes with sales that are going on. My code Staci can actually save you 10%. One thing that I really love about Sigma is they allow you to stack codes. So like if they have a sale going on, like they had their anniversary sale, they have another semi-annual sale going on soon, you can stack influencer codes and get an extra 10% off. And they honestly, like, to me, that's amazing that they do that because it actually allows you as a consumer to be able to like, you know, save a little bit more money, and you get to support your influencer. So again, my code is Staci, and you guys can save 10%. You can save 10% on Sigma Beauty, honestly, at any point when you place an order with Sigma Beauty. But when they have a sale, it looks like sometimes they let you stack it as well, which is awesome. Thank you guys so much for watching and staying tuned to the end. I hope you guys consider subscribing before you go, checking out some of my other videos, and I hope I get to see you in my next one. Bye!